What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on Bitcoin, that's BTC/USD. This, of course, will be an update. We've talked about this coin on the channel in the past. We also discuss it every single Friday over on the main channel for the weekend crypto report. And what you'll notice is that this has been no safe haven for investors as the broader marketplace, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, have really been taking a beating over the past day or two. Again, Bitcoin was traditionally seen as a hedge to the traditional markets, and again, now it's just sort of falling in line with what's happening in the broader marketplace. We're certainly seeing this head and shoulders panning out over the course of time here. This was the neckline at around 41,000 roughly, and that's been breaking down on today's session, which is a fairly bearish indication for Bitcoin. Some people have been calling for 30,000 on this breakdown, and I wouldn't call them crazy, noting it's the lows of this prior area of consolidation. Now, is there a long way to go before we get there? Absolutely. There's probably going to be some bumps along the way, but it does make a valid downside target. That's ultimately the must-hold line in the sand if Bitcoin will remain semi-bullish or at least neutral into 2022. If we scrunch up the chart, falling outside of this range, notice, is really going to take a toll on, what is to come underneath us. Essentially, there's no support down here until we get to some of this prior structure closer to like 16K. So that's looking like a 50% retracement if 30,000 goes, right? That's just rough numbers. I'm not saying that it has to go there all in one fell swoop. I'm just pointing out the structure's fairly poor underneath 30,000. Let's get back into the recent price activity here and just analyze what's been going on. Certainly the dominant downtrend is still in effect, and the reason I say that is because we have yet again another cluster of lower highs after this one from in here. Now we also have had lows, lower lows, and now we're also going to be forming a new lower low based on today's breakdown. So Bitcoin does look fairly bearish in the short term. The only way that you're going to get bullish is if we can break this downtrend and make a move up and over the dominant resistance trendline, which has been drawn in from the all-time high in Bitcoin. So it's a pretty powerful resistance trendline, and it's been in effect for a number of months now, and with no reprieve to the upside. So that's what we're seeing on the daily. It does look fairly bearish. Let's drill down to something like a 30-minute time frame just to see what we might have in store for tomorrow's session. Popping that back on auto, you can see a fairly aggressive breakdown, again mirroring what's been going on in your S&P 500 as well as the NASDAQ. Do I think that we could use a little bit of a dead cat bounce? Maybe. It wouldn't seem unreasonable to me that maybe the sellers are getting a little ahead of themselves and we may see something like this, but as long as it's a lower high, as long as it's underneath this set of lows here, roughly that 41,000, we could even come into it, back test it, right? What would that be? We would have a break, retest, roll over for an equal low, and then you would expect lower after that. That's one way that this could technically pan out. So again, looking fairly bearish on the 30-minute, looking fairly bearish on the daily. The last thing we'll do before we send you on your way is just take out the Fibonacci's from the high all the way down to the low of this current move. Bearish consolidation ideally happens below your 38.2, which is currently $40,450 here inside of Bitcoin. Also, coincidentally enough, it's the low of that first move before that dead cat bounce did happen there. So ideally, this happens, we get a bear flag, something that looks like this, and we continue to make this downward descent. Once again, the only way that you're going to get bullish on Bitcoin is if, one, we can recapture 41,000, and two, we can break that daily resistance trendline that we sort of hammered home on the other chart there. That's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.